We'll have the negotiations televised on C-SPAN so that people can see who is making arguments on behalf of their constituents and who are making arguments on behalf of the drug companies or the insurance companies. But here's the thing. We're going to do all these negotiations on C-SPAN. So the American people will be able to watch these negotiations. Drug and insurance companies will have a seat at the table. They just won't be able to buy every single chair. And we will have a public process for forming this plan. It'll be televised on C-SPAN. I can't guarantee it'll be exciting, so not everybody is going to be watching it. But it will be transparent and accountable to the American.
Reports are indicating that House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid want to move the final stage, the very crucial final stage of the discussions between the House and the Senate into a smaller session behind closed doors. Now, that has prompted C-SPAN to send a formal letter to Congress today. They are requesting, once again, full camera access to all of the relevant negotiations to how our health care system will be changed in this country. And Shannon Bream is on this story for us live in Washington today with more. Good afternoon.
C-SPAN came to light today. Did C-SPAN wrote a letter, Mr. Lamb, to you guys to have this process be transparent in regards to the conference committee? Right now it's being done with ping pong. Any response on that?
Well, no decision has.
Yeah. To be out in public, President Obama considered that on the campaign.
Really? Well, there are a number of things he was for on the campaign trail. But I have referred that letter to the assistant to the speaker and Mr. Van Hollen. Would you like to respond?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Let me just point out first that the health care debate in this piece of legislation has been subjected to an unprecedented degree of public scrutiny and input. It was the original bill was put on the internet for the public to inspect. You then had a summer where you had thousands of hearings around the country and town meetings, and both town hall meetings where people were showing up, as well as telephone town hall meetings. You had a whole series of hearings. In fact, I think it's important to note there were over 100 hearings held by the chairman of the three committees who are here with us today, heard from 181 witnesses, 83 hours of markup. The list goes on. So we will continue to have that kind of open process as we go through this next phase. There will obviously be discussions between members of the House and Senate, but we will continue to keep the American people informed as we have in the earlier stages of this legislation. We don't even know yet whether there's going to be a conference, as the Speaker said. It's not clear whether or not that's going to happen.
Question on health care. C-SPAN television is requesting leaders of Congress to open up the debate to their cameras, and I know this is something that the President talked about on the campaign trail. Is this something that he supports, will be pushing for?
I've not seen that letter. I know the President's going to begin some discussions later today on health care in order to try to iron out the differences that remain between the House and the Senate bill and try to get something, hopefully, to his death.
Why can't you answer the C-SPAN question?
I did.
Well, you didn't, because
I said I hadn't seen the letter, which I haven't.
Why do you need to see a letter? I mean, this is something the President said during the campaign, and he talked about he wants everything open on C-SPAN.
Dan asked me about the letter, and I haven't read the letter. So
I'll just ask you about having it on C-SPAN.
I answered Dan's question, and I answered this before we left for the break. Keith, the President's number one priority is getting the differences worked out, getting a bill to the House and the Senate. We've filled your newspaper and many others with the back and forth and the details of what's in these bills. I don't want to keep that from continuing to happen. I don't think there's anybody that would say that we haven't had a thorough, robust, now spanning 2 calendar years debate on health care.
There are a lot of reasons not to do it on C-SPAN. People to showboat. Does he regret making that statement during the?
We'll have the negotiations televised on C-SPAN so that people can see who is making arguments on behalf of their constituents and who are making arguments on behalf of the drug companies or the insurance companies.